What's up everyone and welcome back to the channel. In our first news, Duplessis has been called out by Brendan Allen, who believes it's finally his time to make a statement in the middleweight division. During a recent interview with Mike Bone, Allen sent a clear message to DDP, accusing him of going quiet after his win over RDR a few weeks ago. According to Allen, Duplessis was once vocal and confident when things were going his way, but now that the tables have turned, he's suddenly silent. Allen said, "Duplessis knows I'm a tough test. He knows I can beat him, and that's why he's been quiet, like a mouse in church since his last fight." Allen went on to explain that Duplessis always had something to say when he was struggling or coming off a loss because it was safe to talk then, knowing the fight wasn't on the horizon. But now that Brendan has been winning and climbing the ranks, things feel different. Allen added that when he was on a big win streak, the matchup between him and Duplessis was a real possibility, yet DDP didn't say a word. He stayed silent because deep down, he knew the fight was risky. Allen didn't hold back when discussing Duplessis' performance against Khamzat, saying that Duplessis was completely dominated. He emphasized that it wasn't even a close fight, not one of those bouts where both fighters had moments. In his words, Duplessis was dominated for 25 minutes straight, and even being generous, Allen said he might have had a few seconds of success, but that's it. He made it clear that kind of performance isn't supposed to happen at this level, especially when you're fighting as the supposed champion of the division. Adding to the criticism, Allen mentioned that even commentators like Joe Rogan have questioned whether Duplessis can ever train enough to beat Khamzat in a rematch. With that kind of dominant loss still fresh, a second fight between them doesn't seem likely anytime soon. For now, Brendan Allen sits at number 5 in the middleweight rankings, and although a matchup with Duplessis would generate plenty of buzz, it might still be a stretch for the UFC to make it happen immediately. However, Allen knows exactly what he needs to do. A win in his next fight, possibly avenging his loss to Anthony Hernandez, could move him closer to that opportunity. If he keeps his momentum going and Duplessis slips up against contenders like Sean Strickland or Nasruddin Imavov, the path could open up. In that case, a Duplessis versus Allen fight would make perfect sense for the UFC. Right now, Allen's confidence is sky high, and he's making it known that he's ready for anyone at the top of the division, whether it's Duplessis or another contender. He's determined to prove he belongs among the best, and this latest call-out has only intensified the buzz around his next move. And before we continue, make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to help support the channel. Moving on to another news, Nickal is set to face Vieira at UFC 322 next month, but his placement on the main card has sparked quite a bit of controversy. Many fans were upset, pointing out that Bo is coming off a TKO loss to RDR and questioning why he's been given such a high spot on the card. On X, Darren Till voiced his frustration, saying, "How is Nickal getting further up on the main card slots than the likes of Leon Edwards? Make it make sense. The guy hasn't earned his stripes yet," adding a yawning emoji to emphasize his point. In response, Bo fired back confidently, writing, "Main card UFC 322. Maybe I have hundreds of thousands of grassroots American wrestling fans, or maybe it's just rage bait. Either way, I can't wait to fight." His reply quickly went viral, showing that Bo isn't backing down from criticism. Moving on to another news, Merab recently went viral after posting a hilarious picture on social media featuring the fighters he has defeated, all sitting around a dinner table. In the photo, Merab sits proudly at the head of the table with a confident smile, while the others represent his past opponents. He captioned the post with the words, "Who's the next guest at my table?" a clever nod to his dominance in the bantamweight division. The post quickly gained attention from fans and fellow fighters, many praising Merab's creativity and sense of humor. As for his next challenge, Merab is set to face Peter Yan at UFC 323 in what promises to be a high-stakes matchup. A victory over Yan could solidify Merab's position as the top contender for the bantamweight title. For now, his confidence and playful energy continue to make him one of the most entertaining personalities in the division. Moving on to another news, Valter Walker has suffered a broken fibula following his fight at UFC 321. Despite walking away with a win over Lewis Sutherland, the victory came at a painful cost. During the early moments of the fight, Sutherland landed a heavy calf kick that immediately caused damage to Walker's leg. At first, Walker seemed to push through, continuing to fight with visible discomfort, but later it was revealed that the kick had actually fractured his fibula. On Tuesday, Walker took to Instagram to confirm the injury, posting an x-ray that clearly showed the break. In his caption, he explained that he'll need what he called a heavy recovery period of around 5 to 6 weeks before he can resume full training. Fans were shocked when, shortly after revealing the news, footage surfaced online showing Walker lifting weights in the gym despite the broken leg. The video quickly went viral, with fans praising his toughness and dedication to the sport. Even though he's dealing with a serious injury, Walker's mindset remains positive, and he's already focused on recovery and returning stronger than ever. His determination has drawn support from across the MMA community, with many calling him one of the grittiest and most committed fighters on the roster. For now, Walker is expected to take time off to heal properly before making his comeback inside the octagon. Moving on to another news, Henry Cejudo recently revealed that he went to the same eye doctor that Sean O'Malley uses after after suffering an eye poke from Song Yadong. Cejudo shared that he wanted to make sure everything was okay with his vision, especially since the poke had been bothering him for a while. He explained that the visit turned out to be more fascinating than expected because the doctor had some of the most advanced equipment he'd ever seen. Cejudo mentioned that he even brought along one of Tom Aspinall's close friends, James Mystery, to the appointment. James got to witness how detailed and precise the doctor's work was. According to Cejudo, the doctor was able to pinpoint the exact cause of his double vision using advanced imaging technology. He said the experience was almost mind-blowing, describing it as looking into another world, the world of the eye. He went on to explain how incredible it was to see the inner details of the eye, to actually visualize the damage and understand how delicate yet complex it is. Cejudo praised the doctor, calling him a real specialist who knew exactly what he was doing. He said it was amazing how the doctor could look deep into the eye and clearly show which areas were affected. The whole process gave Cejudo a new appreciation for eye health, especially after seeing the technology used to assess vision problems caused by fight injuries. He emphasized that eye damage can be far more serious than people realize, and that it's important for fighters to take these things seriously rather than brushing them off. Cejudo then said that if he were in Tom Aspinall's position, he would definitely be looking for the best eye specialist available. Given what happened during Tom's recent fight, Cejudo believes it's crucial for him to get fully checked and figure out how long recovery might take before stepping back into competition. He also noted that this kind of care can make a huge difference in a fighter's longevity, as vision issues can quietly impact performance over time. In the end, Cejudo's story wasn't just about a doctor's visit, it was about understanding the importance of proper medical care after serious injuries. His experience served as a reminder that behind every fighter's toughness, there's still a need for expert attention to keep their health and career safe. Moving on to another news, TJ Dillashaw has sparked major controversy after suggesting that Tom Aspinall might have exaggerated the severity of the eye poke in his fight against Ciryl Gane at UFC 321. During a recent discussion, Dillashaw shared his thoughts, saying he believes Aspinall could have taken the easier way out instead of trying to continue. According to Dillashaw, Gane was picking his shots better, staying composed, and fighting with more calculation, while Aspinall tends to rely on explosive power and forward pressure to finish fights quickly. He said Gane was reading openings, controlling distance, and fighting smart, something that might have frustrated Aspinall before the incident happened. Dillashaw went on to say that when the eye poke occurred, it looked to him like Aspinall's eye was already closing up, but the situation didn't seem as severe as Aspinall made it appear. He mentioned that from the footage and photos afterward, the damage didn't look significant, and that's what raised questions in his mind. Dillashaw clarified that while the poke was definitely an accidental foul and not Aspinall's fault, the way Aspinall reacted made him wonder if he chose not to continue, even though he possibly could have. He explained, "From the optics and the way it looked, his eye was closed when he got poked. He was saying he couldn't see, but it didn't seem like he even tried to open it or check if he could. I've seen guys take full fingers to the eye and still keep fighting. Obviously, I don't know for sure because I wasn't there, but based on what we saw, it didn't look that bad afterward." Dillashaw admitted it's all speculation, but added that from his perspective, it seemed like Aspinall may have taken the easy way out, especially since the result was ruled a no contest. He pointed out that fighters still get paid for stepping into the octagon, and with a paycheck that large, rumored to be around $3 million, it might have made sense for Aspinall to call it a night and come back later without risking more damage. The discussion then turned to how fighter contracts work, with Dillashaw explaining that depending on the agreement, some athletes receive a flat fee once the fight begins, regardless of the outcome. He noted, "As soon as you step inside the octagon, you get paid. Technically, someone could tap out right after the bell rings and still get paid, though it would definitely hurt their reputation." When asked about dealing with eye pokes personally, Dillashaw and others at the table admitted they've experienced them during fights, but never thought about quitting. They agreed that it's part of the sport, and that most fighters push through if they can. Dillashaw finished by reiterating that while he doesn't know what Aspinall was feeling in that moment, the way the situation unfolded made it look questionable. His comments have stirred up debate within the MMA community, with fans divided on whether Aspinall genuinely couldn't see, or if he made a business decision to protect his career and come back stronger. Moving on to another news, Cory Sandhagen has shared a rather hilarious yet creative idea for how the UFC could finally fix the ongoing eye poke problem. During a recent livestream on Twitch with Curtis Blades, Sandhagen joked that any fighter responsible for an eye poke, intentional or not, should be forced to spend the full 5 minutes that their opponent uses to recover breathing and farts out of a jar. The comment instantly went viral, with fans flooding social media laughing at his brutal sense of humor. But beneath the joke, Sandhagen's point carried some truth. Fighters rarely face serious consequences for eye pokes, and that needs to change. During the stream, both Sandhagen and Blades discussed the Tom Aspinall vs. Ciryl Gane eye poke incident at UFC 321. They reviewed the footage in slow motion, with Blades admitting that at first, he didn't think it looked too bad. But after rewatching watching it frame by frame, he realized how deep Gane's finger went into Aspinall's eye. Sandhagen agreed, saying that sometimes you can't fully grasp how bad an eye poke is until you see it in detail. Still, he added that even though accidents happen, some fighters seem to poke others more frequently than the rest. Sandhagen pointed out that it's not always about the gloves or design flaws, it's often about carelessness or lack of control during exchanges. He mentioned that some fighters simply don't care and treat it as part of the game because the penalties are minimal. Blades agreed, recalling how certain fighters have openly admitted to using fouls to get short breaks during fights. He mentioned Derek Lewis as an example, saying, "I've heard Lewis say he'll eye poke you or kick you in the balls just to catch his breath." They laughed about it, but acknowledged that those types of tactics, even if rare, highlight a real issue. When discussing their own habits in the cage, Sandhagen said he's never poked anyone in the eye because he's always mindful of his hand placement. He credited his precision and awareness for keeping him out of those situations, adding, "I just try not to poke this fool in the eye. It's not that hard if you're paying attention." Blades agreed, saying Sandhagen's style shows a lot of control compared to some other fighters who often extend their hands carelessly during striking exchanges. As they wrapped up their discussion, both fighters agreed that the UFC needs to take the problem more seriously. They laughed again at Sandhagen's fart jar idea, but the underlying message was clear. There should be stricter punishments or consistent rules for eye pokes, whether intentional or accidental. For now, Sandhagen's funny yet thought-provoking comment has become one of the most talked about moments of the week, showing that even humor can shine a light on a real issue inside the octagon. Moving on to another news, Ciryl Gane's coach, Fernand Lopez, has finally reacted to everything that went down at UFC 321. Speaking about the controversial eye poke incident, Lopez said that for their team, everything was going exactly as planned. He explained that Gane was executing the strategy perfectly, and they were confident in how the fight was unfolding. However, the unfortunate eye poke changed everything in an instant. Lopez made it clear that if a fighter can't see, then there's simply nothing that can be done. Safety always comes first, and no one can continue under those circumstances. He added that it's just part of the sport. Accidents happen, and no one intends for them to. Despite the disappointing ending, Lopez expressed pride in Gane's performance and professionalism, saying the team will move forward and come back even stronger in their next fight. Moving on to another news, Ilia recently made an announcement that had fans buzzing, but it wasn't about his next fight. The featherweight champion revealed that his latest move is outside the octagon, a collaboration with the Spanish fashion brand Adolfo Dominguez. The partnership showcases Ilia's growing influence beyond MMA, as he continues to expand his brand in the world of fashion and lifestyle. The announcement was made through his social media, where he shared a promotional clip highlighting the collaboration's sleek and modern style. While many fans were expecting details about his next UFC appearance, this news shows a different side of Ilia, one focused on image, style, and global reach. Still, the MMA community is eagerly waiting to hear what's next for him inside the cage. For now, Ilia seems focused on balancing his athletic career with new ventures that reflect his confidence and champion mindset. Moving on to another news, Matt Brown has decided to go off on critics who are questioning Tom Aspinall. During a recent episode of MMA Fighting's The Fighter vs. the Writer, Brown didn't hold back his thoughts on the situation. He said he's been absolutely disgusted with the narrative that's been floating around, where people are somehow blaming Tom Aspinall for what happened. Brown questioned where this idea even came from and how anyone could think. Aspinall did something wrong. He went on to say that people claiming Aspinall should have just sucked it up and fought with one. I are completely out of line. Brown emphasized that this isn't some kind of death match or a video game like Street Fighter. It's a professional sport, and Aspinall made the right decision to protect himself and his career. He reminded everyone that fighters put their lives on the line every time they step into the cage. And it's not about ego, it's about performing at the highest level and ensuring their safety. Brown made it clear that Aspinall's choice to stop the fight was the smart and professional thing to do, not a sign of weakness. He defended Aspinall's integrity, saying that no real fighter would risk permanent damage just to satisfy critics who've never been in that position. Brown's message was firm: respect the athletes and understand what's truly at stake every time they fight. Moving on to another news, Tom Aspinall has been facing a wave of criticism, from some fans accusing him of quitting after his controversial fight against Ciryl Gane at UFC 321. The accusation started after Aspinall posted a video on his YouTube channel where his eye appeared to look fine with no major visible damage. Many began questioning whether the eye poke that ended the fight was really as serious as it seemed. However, sports medicine expert Dr. Brian Sutterer stepped in to give a professional explanation and clear the confusion surrounding Aspinall's injury. During his appearance on the Ariel Helwani show, Dr. Sutterer broke down what might have actually happened to Aspinall's eye. He explained that there's a major difference between an eye looking okay and an eye functioning properly. According to him, the impact from Gane's double eye poke could easily have caused temporary visual impairment, even if no long-term structural damage was visible afterward. What I saw was a clear moment of foul, Dr. Sutterer said. Even if it wasn't a big, severe injury, it was still enough to cause visual impairment, and that's a legitimate reason to stop the fight, he continued. Everybody seems to be focusing on how the eye looked fine afterward. Even the hospital report said there was no serious damage, but there's a big difference between something looking fine and something functioning fine. When knuckles get dug deep into both eyes, that's a lot of trauma. It doesn't have to look terrible for it to seriously affect your vision. Dr. Sutterer also explained that the ringside doctor did exactly what was necessary, saying the situation was handled properly by both the medical team and the referee. The doctor at the event said the eye looked okay, but again, that doesn't mean it was functioning correctly. When you have a mechanism of injury like that, and the fighter tells you he can't see, then the fight cannot continue, he said. If you can't see, you can't defend yourself. And if you can't defend yourself, the fight has to be stopped. It's as simple as that. He added that visual recovery after such an injury can vary depending on how deeply the eye is impacted. Sometimes even brief pressure or scratching from a glove can temporarily distort vision. In Aspinall's case, both eyes were affected, which made the situation even worse. Getting poked in one eye is bad enough, Dr. Sutterer said, but when both eyes are struck, the brain receives conflicting signals, and your vision becomes unstable. That alone is enough to make a fighter feel like they can't see properly. Dr. Sutterer concluded by emphasizing that Aspinall made the right call under the circumstances. He experienced a clear foul, described visual symptoms, and followed the protocol. The referee did what was required. It was the correct decision to stop the fight. Following UFC 321, many fans have now begun to see the situation differently, realizing that what looked like a minor injury could, in reality, have been a serious temporary impairment that made it impossible for Aspinall to continue safely.